Legend of Total War here, and today we're going to be discussing the petition. There's quite a lot of discussion going around it. Creative Assembly have made a statement, and we're just going to go over some things and just sort of keep the conversation going, because I think that's important. First thing, just talking about the petition itself. We've gotten 22,222 signatures. That's amazing. Greatly appreciate everyone that's signed. That's more than I expected to get in total. The support has been kind of overwhelming. Now, it's also important to address that when I made this petition, I wasn't expecting anything to happen apart from having a conversation. You know, things have been a bit slow in Total War, and I've heard this conversation happen throughout the year, and so I kind of wanted this to get a little bit more light shined on it. I've heard a few people claim that this isn't my idea, and they're right. It isn't my idea. I don't know whose idea it is specifically. I've heard it multiple times from multiple sources. But if somebody wants to claim this idea as theirs, I'm more than happy for them to do that. What I've done here is I've taken a topic that I've heard from other people as I've been lurking through forums and simply shone a light on it. That's all I've done. I'm not looking to get credit for it in any way, shape, or form. The only thing I want is for it to actually happen. As far as I'm concerned, you can completely take my name off it if you really want. Obviously, I've signed it, but you know, as for like this, just blank it out. It's not important. What's important is the actual topic, because I'm seeing not much, but we'll get onto the Reddit post in a little bit. Just a little bit of conversation around, why is Legend doing this? You know, that kind of stuff. The reason why I'm doing this is because, you know, it's not, you know, out of the pure kindness of my heart, and you shouldn't really expect that every decision that somebody makes be out of the kindness of someone's heart, because let's face it, the Reddit is not the place to go for altruism. I don't think a single person there ever does anything selflessly, but it's so that we can all come together and agree on something, so we can all benefit from it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with deciding that you want something, finding someone that wants the same thing, and working together. Even if you were previously, that was the person that you didn't like. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I've done that in the past. You know, worked with people that I didn't like for a common goal. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So I think that we all benefit from this from a number of reasons. I think that Creative Assembly will make more money from this, okay? Because I think that it'll inject more players into it. More players means more DLC, usually, right? And what I'm hoping from that will be that that the life cycle of Total War Warhammer 3, which I have no idea how long it actually is planned at this point in time. It might be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I don't know. But the point of it is to extend that. Whatever they have currently planned is to extend it. Because I know that with Warhammer 2, that they did more than they intended to originally do, and that Warhammer 3 was extended from what they originally intended to do because of the success of Warhammer 2. So what I want to try to do is make Warhammer 3 as successful as it can be, and just try to help that. I know that as one person, I can't do that on my own, which is why I'm like, not begging, but like urging you guys to work with me on this, and you guys should get all the credit for it, not me. I don't care about the credit. I just want it to happen, because the longer this game survives, the better it is for me, and hopefully the better it is for you guys as well that want to get the best experience out of this. You know, it'll definitely help my channel, so it'll be great to have, you know, instead of 3 years worth of a job, I might have 5 or 6 years. That's good for me, because I'm not looking for new work right now, so that's you know, it benefits me. So again, if you're not looking for things for altruism, that's what charity live streams are for. That's not what these petitions are for. These are, you know, things that we want. Let's work together for it, and you know, try not to moral posture too much, because I think if you worry too much about moral posturing, you can end up in this moral high ground trap where everyone's just trying to moral high ground each other, and then the actual thing that you're achieving, while everyone might want it, it ends up being completely lost along the way. So let's just drop the moral posturing entirely. You know, if you're willing. So next thing is to address this over here. So CAUE Ninja has posted this on the official Total War forums, and then it was reposted on the Reddit. I have some inside to add to this topic, the discussion about the barrier of entry into Immortal Empires began internally at CA shortly after its launch and has been an ongoing and evolving conversation since then. We recognize that it's important to many of you, so we are very much taking the time to fully discuss the implications of the change, time, risks, resources, benefits, players, etc., before committing to a course of action. This discussion hasn't concluded yet, but we wanted to make it clear that we are aware of your interest and assure you that we'll continue these discussions in the new year. So, this can be interpreted many different ways. The way that I've interpreted it might be a little bit cynical, but I've also seen some overly hopeful comments around it. So some of them have, some comments are basically like, great, they've made a statement, they're definitely going to do it, we can stop talking about it right now. I think that that is overly optimistic, and maybe my intake from it is overly cynical, and maybe the truth is somewhere in between, not sure. But my interpretation of this is that because I have information from other creators as well, I know that I've spoken to a few people that said that they talked to Creative Assembly privately about doing something along this line back in July, August, September, and that Creative Assembly always shut it down. So that might be where this began internally at CA shortly after its launch was talking about, and it was essentially shut down. And the fact that they're talking about it now is maybe due to the fact that the wider community is starting to get it more involved into it, and so they're sort of forcing their hand a little bit. But I don't think that we should interpret that as they are going to make a change, but merely a interpretation that they are monitoring the situation. They're listening and seeing what the best course of action is, because Creative Assembly is the kind of company that will oftentimes just wait for something to blow over, and if it blows over, they will do nothing, okay? So if you want nothing to happen, then do nothing, okay? If you want something to happen, you need to keep the conversation alive. It's not a toxic conversation. You know, it doesn't hurt anyone to talk about it. It's completely within the rules of the Total War subreddit, since it's Total War related. You're not harming anyone by expressing yourself. You know, if you've got ideas, you know, if you think you've got a better idea than this one, express yourself. If you think that this is a bad idea, express yourself, okay? Have the conversation continue one way or another, okay? I think that's so important. You know, I'm not saying that only people that agree with me should talk and everybody else should shut up. No, not at all. If you disagree, please do provide counter arguments so that our arguments can be refined, so that we can eventually reach the best conclusion from this possible. I think that's how we should do things. Have a conversation about it. That's all I want. Just keep talking about it. All right. You know, you don't need to, you know, champion me with it. You know, just keep the conversation going. Don't be like, Legend says this, and therefore we should do that. No. Things like, they should hire Legend of Total War to run his run their company. No. I have my own business. I have my own very successful business. Okay, all right. That's another thing I've seen people say, like, oh, why should we listen to Legend? You know, if he was actually good at this, he would run a multinational company and all this kind of stuff. Look, I'm very, very content running a one-man operation that is wildly successful, okay? I am wildly successful, okay? Depending on, of course, the criteria that you use for success, okay? I do not want to work from a big, heartless corporation. I love the fact that I get to do my job from home, and I am amazingly successful at what I do. So, you know, take that as you see fit, you know? Hey, Legend, you're so up yourself. How can you possibly say that you're successful, okay? You either trust me on it or you don't, okay? Just, you know, I don't want to sit here bragging and whatever. The point of it is that you shouldn't use arguments of authority, okay? I think that's the main argument. An argument of authority is where you say, this person who is of this authority said this, therefore it's either true or false. Arguments of authority have no place in this. Just take my name out of it, okay? It doesn't matter. The merit of this should not be based on who I am, but what I've said. That's the merit of this, and this should have been said by anybody and had the exact same impact, okay? That's what should be focused on, not whether or not I said it, okay? Another thing to address in these comments here is there are a few comments, most of them are downvoted, which I think deserve it, that say, this conversation, shut up, go away, this doesn't belong on the Reddit, now you can go away, that kind of stuff. I think that any comments that are trying to shut down the conversation should actually be shut down, ironically. Because here's the thing about it. If you don't want to be involved in this conversation, that is your right 100%. I completely value your right to abstain. Okay, that's so important. But there are so many topics here, and you just simply can click the ones you want to converse in, and the ones that you don't want to, you don't have to. You can see here based on my feed that I have opened this one and this one and this one and this one. I've had a look at them, and there are some that I haven't looked at because I'm not interested in them. You know, nothing wrong with them, but I'm not going into this one here and going, Thorgrim is fine, shut up, why do we have to keep talking about this? Rah, 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 rah. Okay, if they want to have that conversation, all the more power to them, you know. I don't need to go in there and put my disinterest into a topic. The way that you express your disinterest into a topic is by showing disinterest, by not clicking on it. Typically speaking, I don't watch shows that I'm not interested in. I don't watch YouTube channels that I'm not interested in. I don't interact with people I'm not interested in. Don't click on topics you're not interested in. It doesn't hurt you in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Now, on the other hand, if you are interested in the topic but you disagree, then I encourage you to keep posting. Even if you get downvoted, okay? It's kind of a bit of a weird situation how Reddit works, where people upvote or downvote whether or not they agree with the statement, not whether it's actually on topic. So it's a bit of a weird thing. So in terms of arguing against some of the topics, the arguments against this, I think that there have been some good points, and I'll address them. The main one here is that doing this would be a slap in the face to existing customers of Total War Warhammer that have paid full price. And I think that that argument is valid but flimsy, because other companies and games companies, similar to Total War, and I'll use it a very specific example, have made pay-to-play games, so you pay for them, and then they've become free or super cheap later down the track, and typically speaking is not met with any kind of negativity, right? And I'll use a specific example. If I go into Steam and I go to Crusader Kings 2, right? This is a game that I love this game, okay? I really, really do. I've got nearly 1,000 hours into it. See, I've got a positive review on this one here. I bought this game. I didn't get it given to me by Paradox. I've never had anything given... Actually, no, that's not true. I've had a couple of things given to me for free by Paradox. But that was for EU4. But everything for Crusader Kings 2, I have paid for with my own money, right? And Crusader Kings 2 is now free. Oh my god! They made the game free? How dare they? I should get a refund, you know? Because I paid for it. But here's the thing, they made this free fairly recently, relatively recently, right? But I bought this game years ago. Like, I reviewed it back in 2019. Here's the thing, when you buy a game, you buy it for a longer time than somebody who buys it on a discount later down the track. You've had it for longer. If you've played Total War Warhammer since the very beginning, you get to retain all of that experience. There are people out there for Total War Warhammer 3 that haven't experienced Warhammer 1, Warhammer 2, and the evolution of this game. They have missed out on that. If they can get in now, late, having made no impact whatsoever on the development of Total War Warhammer, that's fine if they can get in cheap. Welcome these people. Make it as easy for them as possible to enjoy something that you have spent such a large investment on. You know, embrace them. I have absolutely no problem whatsoever with Crusader Kings 2 being free, because Crusader Kings 3 is out. This is an outdated game now. The funny thing is, I don't even own Crusader Kings 3, because I'm still quite satisfied with this game. But yeah, it is completely free to play, but the DLC is still there. And that's the funny thing about this. The base game is free, and the DLC is not. Let me just briefly see if people still play Crusader Kings 2. Probably not. It's still got a few people playing it. You know, it's not completely nobody, so it's not a dead game. But yeah, I think that what they did there was fine. So that's just an example of other companies having basically lowered the barrier to entry in other titles that are a little bit older, and it have been fine. Like, you saw that it was seen very positive on Steam. That's better than what Warhammer 3's overall reviews are in total. So I think that argument is a little bit flimsy. You will have some people that'll get upset by it, but I think it's a very, very small minority of incredibly selfish, bitter people And I don't think that we should bend the whims to the most bitter of the community. Basically, look, if you buy something with the expectation that it remains that price forever, I think you need to manage your expectations, because things go down in price that are like time-based commodities. And by time-based commodities, I don't mean like food. Like food is, typically speaking, adjusted for inflation, always going to cost the same, apart from specials. But like, for example, time-based product is something that over time the product gets less and less valuable. Like, for example, iPhone 2. Like, if I was to buy an iPhone 2 today, I wouldn't expect to pay the same amount as I would have when it first came out, because it's not worth as much, Same thing with like a car. You buy a car that comes up with a new model every year. You buy it on 2013, right? And it's $25,000, right? And then 2022, somebody pays $2,000 for that same car. It's brand new. It's just that model, and they pay like $2,000 for it. Oh, how dare they pay that much for it? But you've had that product for near 10 years, sort of thing. It's the same sort of thing with Rome 2, right? Rome 2 has nearly been out for 10 years, and it's still marked at if we have a look, Rome 2. Store, search it. Yeah, look at this. Look at this ridiculous crap, right? It's still $90 fucking here for Total War Rome 2. I mean, I get that Steam sales will happen over time, but this game here is 1 year older than Crusader Kings 2. Look at this ridiculous crap, right? This game should not be being bought for $90. Okay, if you're buying Rome, like, whether or not you like Rome 2 or not, that's entirely up to you. I mean, it is ranked as very positive. I personally don't like Rome 2, but whatever, it's a personal thing. If you're paying $90 for this product, you're a damn fool. Get a sale on this, because it is not worth that much. This is an old ass game, right? But that's the market. People buy things at different prices. So that's just a bit of a flimsy argument there. Again, the whole point of this is to make it easier for people, because another argument that I've heard is, oh, but you could just wait for a Steam sale. Look at me personally. I got Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 for like $20. And that's awesome that you managed to get that price. But you've also got to consider this. People who bargain hunt, if they're bargain hunting for Warhammer 3, you got to keep in mind that they still have to purchase 3 games. 3 games, if discounted, is still more than another game that might be discounted. So let's just use a different example. Let's just say a person is tossing up between buying Civilization 6 and Total War Warhammer 3. They don't want Realms of Chaos. They want Immortal Empires. So there is a similar sale going on for Total War Warhammer related products and Civilization related products. Do they go with purchasing Civilization 6 at a discount, buying 1 game, or buying 3 discounted products in order to get the Immortal Empires product? You got to consider that kind of stuff, all right? Yes, it is possible in hindsight that this game will provide way more value than Civilization 6, but somebody who is a prospective buyer isn't going to know that until after they've made the purchase. We can't tell them that there's more value in Warhammer 3. They have to come to that conclusion on their own, and so the pricing structure is not appealing. That's the whole point of it. Now, this structure here makes it so that Creative Assembly doesn't lose out on any money, because Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 essentially just become DLC, which is essentially what they are now anyway. So they play the Warhammer 3 races, which, don't forget, they're bare bones for the most part. They're not finished races. And then they're like, oh, look, Karl Franz, that looks like a fun faction to play. Oh, I gotta buy Warhammer 1? Oh, it's $60 or $25. Well, I really want to play as Karl Franz, and I'm loving this Immortal Empires. Screw it, I'm going to go buy Warhammer 1. Oh, look, Ichor Claw. That's so much fun. Look, this guy, he's got nuclear weapons. Oh, but I got to go buy Warhammer 2. Oh, and I've got to buy Prophet of the Warlock. And then they can make an informed decision. But the main thing here is get them in the door, get them liking Immortal Empires, and then they can buy whatever DLC that suits their playstyle. Because the current system is buy Warhammer 3, play Realms of Chaos, experience a not very popular campaign. I get that some people like Realms of Chaos, but a lot of people don't, and it is off-putting, and so we end up losing a lot of people that would be very valuable to the community. Don't shun your nose at having new people to the community. More people enrich the community overall. It doesn't make us weaker. It makes us stronger. All right. I think I pretty much addressed everything here. The main thing that I really want to state is that keep the conversation going. You know, if you disagree with anything that I've said, please come up with a counter argument. Please do, because I'll keep arguing my point. And who knows? I mean, I doubt it, but you might even get me to turn around and be like, you know what, guys? You know what? The current system is just fine. You know, someone come up with an argument that makes perfect sense. I doubt it, but we'll see. You know, keep an open mind with that. But yeah, keep the conversation going. That way Creative Assembly will keep seeing it. It's important to keep it on the Reddit. I also want to give a big shout out to the Reddit, and I really feel some kinship with you guys over this, because I don't think we've been on the same page at all this year, but we're on the same page with this, I feel, for the most part. And I'll continue to support the Reddit in whatever the conversation goes on with this. And I congratulate you on the manner in which you're conversing. It's been very respectful for the most part, which is all I can ever expect from you. You're only ever going to get you're always going to get a certain portion of people that are going to be disrespectful and rude. That's always going to happen. You're going to see it in my comments. And in fact, I do try to remove as many of those rude comments as possible. It does happen. By the way, on another note, if you see a comment that says you've won something and it looks like it's from me, it's a scam, by the way, if you haven't learnt that by now, okay? I'm doing my best to ban and like stop those comments from showing up. I'm using keyword banning to try to stop them from showing up. But yeah, do not click on Telegram or anything like that, because I don't do that crap, right? You're not getting any giveaways, all right? So just be aware of that. It's a scam. But yeah, I do my best to moderate it. If we just be respectful, even if we disagree, I think that's really important. I've seen so many comments that have been, I don't like Legend of Total War, but I agree with what he's proposing here. And honestly, I have more respect for those comments than I do for people who blindly just agree with me just because of arguments or authority. Legend of Total War is so good at Total War, therefore he knows best. That's such bullshit. It's complete garbage. Arguments of authority have absolutely no place in here one way or another, negative or positive wise. Okay, arguments will rise and fall on their own merit. It doesn't matter who said them. Okay, with that, that's the end of this one. Keep signing this, you know, if you want. It's completely optional. You do have the option to donate, and I would urge you guys not to do it. It doesn't really help the actual petition that much. Like, when you donate, the site will push the petition out a little bit. It might end up getting a few more signatures, but for the most part, I think that your money is better spent elsewhere. Like, if you want to donate to something, donate it to a charity. Like, we're doing a charity live stream coming up at the end of the year. Maybe just save it for that if that's what you want, or, you know, buy yourself a coffee. I don't know, but I would just urge you guys, if you want to support this, do that with just your signature and your conversation. That's the only thing that you need to do. Just keep doing that. I appreciate you guys so much. This has been a very interesting experience. We're going to keep on top of this as long as you guys are interested in it. And we'll see where this goes. So hopefully Creative Assembly will do something about it. Again, they have no... I'm not really trying to put any serious pressure on them to do something, but I think that the more that you guys can talk about it, the more likely they are to do something. Because at the end of the day, all I want to see is this game reach its full potential. I'll benefit from that. You'll benefit from that. Creative Assembly will benefit from that. Let's try to make that happen. It's a team effort. We need Creative Assembly and you guys to make it happen. We don't need the YouTubers, okay? You don't need me. You really don't. At this point here, I'm just entertainment. I'm just the dancing clown, really, okay? You don't need me any further from this point on. It's all in your hands. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.